The CVA Cascade, said to be among the elites in the budget hunting rifle category, and at one point was even claimed to be the budget king of all bolt-action hunting rifles. But since then, guns like the Ruger American Gen 2, the Savage 110 Trailhunter have released and have been put ahead of the CVA Cascade by many other gun tubers and gun reviewers since that time. Now it's time to put the Cascade back through the ringer and see if it can reclaim its name as the budget king. After accuracy testing, I have 6 total shots remaining out of the load this gun likes, which is a pretty good thing because my mom just called me and said there's a mouse in the kitchen she wants me to kill. And it might be hard to believe, but this is the mouse in question. If I don't kill Mike the mouse, I'm kicked out of the house. Wow, that actually rhymed. That was not intentional. Oh my gosh. I think I just split Mike the mouse in half. Somehow, even with a shot to the upper right of his body, he is still antagonizing my poor mother. So, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to put another shot through him. I don't know if anyone could survive that big of a hole through their body. That's probably 20% of Mike's body is gone. But somehow, he is still running around antagonizing my family. So, I'm gonna have to put another shot through him. And there he goes. I'm pretty sure I just watched Mike the mouse explode before my eyes. Well, I'm pretty sure if your mom ever needs you to kill a mouse at 100 yards, the CVA Cascade can do the job. There it is. Mike the mouse is officially dead. Thank you, Mike the mouse, for your service. The CVA Cascade is pretty sweet. Okay, I mean, I missed 0 shots on those mice. So pretty sick. If you ever need to kill a mouse at 100 yards, I think the CVA Cascade is a good tool for just that. So I had to cut back into the office because my mic just cut out when I was explaining the first couple loads that I was shooting. So the first load that I'm using in this accuracy testing is this. Hornady American Whitetail, shooting 100 grain interlock bullets. Now, I've never had good luck with the American Whitetail stuff, but I haven't shot in a while, so I figured I would try it one more time and just see if this gun can shoot it. So that's load number 1. That first load shocked me, okay? Absolutely blew me away. That was our very first group, 0.63 inches with the whitetail. That might be the best group I've ever shot with a Hornady American Whitetail load. Second group did sneak out over an inch. So don't love to see that, but we're shooting the cheapest ammo with one of the cheapest rifles, and so it's probably acceptable. So it comes out to an average of 0.9 inches. Pretty dang freaking good for this load. You know, a lot of you are going to say, oh, you shot 2-3 shot groups. How can that, it's all the ammo I had to test. And so that's the best we're going to get. But in my experience with this rifle, and in a lot of people's experience with this rifle, that's just how it shoots with a lot of loads, especially these cheaper loads. I mean, it's not going to be shooting consistent half-inch groups, but it's going to give you around that 0.9, barely sub MOA levels of groups. So let's move on to load number 2. The second load I'm going to be shooting is going to be this, the Remington core lock tip, shooting 95 grain core lock tip bullets. Now, again, another load of ammo that doesn't usually do good for me. But the whitetail stuff surprised us, so who knows? Maybe this stuff can surprise us too. And very first group, 0.45 inches. Oh my goodness, that is definitely the best group I've ever shot with this load. All 3 shots are touching right here. All 3 of them are touching. Barely, but they're touching. But second group got way over an inch, almost 2 inches, 1.84. Definitely don't like to see that. Even in the cheaper loads, you don't want to see that. Brings us to an average of about 0.1 inches over 1 MOA. And to be honest, I don't know. It's not that the average is over 1 MOA that concerns me. It's the fact that one of the groups went almost 2 inches. Now, if my gun is capable of doing that, I'm never shooting that load ever again. So yeah, I don't love to see that, but let's move on to load number 3. The third and final load is the load that we're probably all going to expect to do best. And that is going to be the Federal Fusion Bonded Soft Point shooting 95 grain bullets. Now, this stuff is a little more on the expensive side compared to the whitetail and the Coral Ox because, I mean, those are 2 of the cheapest loads that you can find today. And so I wanted to try a nice load and just see how much better it can shoot. Now, I'm not going to lie, those first 2 loads that I shot, they shocked me. So we're going to see if this gun is just so good that when you shoot a good load, it's just going to shoot these tiny little pinhole groups. But yeah, we're just going to go see. So let's get into load number 3. Okay, so load number 3, we shot the Federal Fusion bonded soft point, and what we expected is what happened. Okay, it was the best load. Now, the best group from the Federal Fusion is not as good as the best group from the Coral Ox and the whitetail, which is surprising. But let's just analyze this. First group, 0.87 inches, pretty dang good. Second group, 0.9 inches. Now, I would like to see it get into that half inch, 0.4 inch. I don't love 0.9 out of the more expensive ammo, but we've got an average of 0.88 inches, which is pretty dang good. I mean, that is going to kill anything. You are not going to miss shooting consistent 0.8 inch groups. Now, you might be saying the whitetail and the Fusion shot an average group size of only 0.02 inches different. And that is correct. So a lot of you are going to say, well, I'm just going to go with the whitetail because it's cheaper. But look at the consistency. Look at where both, I mean, you have one group shooting amazing and the other group not shooting amazing. And so it is slightly concerning when you are not seeing consistent group sizes. Then you look at the Fusion and you see both of them. The difference between those 2 groups is 0.03 inches. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the consistency of the groups. Now, yes, like I say, the average is 0.02 inches better than the whitetail. That might be true, and while it's only 0.02 inches, I can see why a lot of people would go to the whitetail. And a lot of people are going to be okay with, especially with a gun in this price range, most people are going to be okay shooting 1.17 inch groups at worst, you know? And my money is on that being one of the worst groups it shoots ever. Even though I don't have a great history with the whitetail stuff, I'm guessing that it's not going to be much worse than that ever. And so I can see why a lot of people would choose the whitetail load, but you have to take the consistency of the groups into account. Again, it's only a 0.02 inch difference. I get that. The difference between the 2 groups that each of the loads shot, that is something you also have to look at because 0.03 inch difference with the Fusion, and we're talking more of like doubling the group size there. We're talking almost 0.6 inches. That concludes our accuracy test. Okay, so let's talk more about the rifle itself and how I have it set up. So the CVA Cascade has several cool features about it. First of all, something that not a lot of people seem to know about because they don't mention it in their videos, but it does have adjustable length of pull. If you look right here, it's hard to see if you're not looking close, but this piece right here, you can actually remove to get closer to the trigger. So that's pretty sweet. And speaking of the trigger, it's a pretty awesome trigger. It's perfect for a hunting rifle. It's not too heavy, it's not too light, and it's crisp. It doesn't feel like there's any extra like grit or stickiness or anything like that. Love that about the trigger. Another thing I love about this rifle is it has dual sling swivel studs on the front. So as you can see, I've got my MDT Oryx bipod up here, but while it's attached to this front stud, there's another stud that is available, if I can get it down here, that's available for a sling. So a lot of hunters are going to be carrying a sling, and a lot of hunters are also going to be wanting a bipod. You can't do that if you only have one sling swivel. So what's the solution to that? You get a dual sling swivel, and the CVA Cascade already has that. The other thing I like about this is some people have, problems with synthetic stocks. They prefer carbon fiber or metal on chassis or whatever. I actually like the feel of a synthetic stock. I think this one is kind of the perfect blend of like not too like sticky grippy and plasticky. So I would say the Tika T3X is a little too plasticky of a stock for me, of a feel. It feels cheaper than this rifle does. And I would say the Savage 110 Trail Hunter, it comes in that green Hogue stock, and I don't like how grippy that one is. It feels a little too much. And I think this is right in the middle there. And it just looks great. I mean, just look at it. Nobody's going to look at this and be like, oh, that looks like a cheap rifle. It looks pretty freaking awesome. Most hunters are going to look at this and be like, that's a good looking gun. The barrel is a 22-inch steel carbon Cerakoted barrel, and I actually like the look of it. Some people don't like this kind of gold finish look, but I think it matches this gun awesomely, especially with the stock they have on there. And the feeding, oh my goodness, this gun does not misfeed ever. It runs so freaking smooth. You never have hangups, and I personally prefer a 70-degree bolt throw, and that's what this rifle has. So a lot of cool things about this. Now, the way I have it set up, like I mentioned, I've got that MDT Oryx bipod on there, which we love at Backfire. The scope I'm running is a Sightmark Presidio 3-18. I usually prefer a little more zoom on my scopes. I prefer a 4-20 at the least. I really like a 4-24, but 18, I prefer a little more. And then, of course, you cannot forget a backstop recoil pad. And this gun, I mean, even though it's in 243, you still feel a difference. A good quality recoil pad is going to make a big difference. You're gonna feel it in your shoulder. You're gonna develop less of a flinch because there's less recoil. And what I would say is even, more important with the recoil is you're gonna spot your impact easier with the gun not jostling around as much. So yeah, that's the gun itself. That's how it's set up. Is it still the Budget King? Can it reclaim its title? Well, that has yet to be seen, because in a future video, I am actually going to be putting this rifle against a couple others that have at one point or currently hold the title of Budget King. I'm not going to tell you what those rifles are yet, but you're going to see it in not too long. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.